So now that we've looked at what Creative Commons is and the various shorthands they use to signify their various license types, if you'll remember, that's BY attribution, SA share alike, NC non-commercial, ND no derivatives. Let's look at where we can find that licensing information on actual websites to confirm whether the educational content that we're looking at is in fact openly licensed and available for us to use. So the two places you'll want to keep in mind are the footer, which would be at the very bottom of a web page, and the sidebar, either on the left or the right-hand side of a web page. Those are the two most common places where you'll find licensing information. So footer and sidebar. Let's look at a few examples of what that actually looks like. So this is the open textbook library. We will talk about them a lot more a little bit later on in the course. But right now we'll just scroll down to the bottom of their website to find their footer. And right here, we can see a really good example of a Creative Commons logo, CC BY. This is the most open form of content, meaning you can do anything you want with it as long as you attribute it back to the open textbook library. And you'll also notice that next to the logo, they write out the licensing information in text format. That is a very common practice to have both the logo and the written out version. And you'll also notice that the text is a hyperlink to the Creative Commons website. So if you forget what those actual shorthands mean, you can click on that link and go to the Creative Commons website where they'll explain what CC BY means for you and your purposes. Let's look at another example of licensing information in the footer. So this is a textbook on human resource management that University of Minnesota made. We'll scroll down to the very bottom again in their footer. Now this is a more restrictive form of OER, but still OER nonetheless. This is CC BY NCSA, so you have to attribute them. You can't use it for commercial purposes, and any derivative works you may make have to be shared under this same license, hence the S, the share alike. And so again, we see the logo, and then we see the text accompanying the logo with the license actually written out. So those are two examples of licensing information in the footer. Now let's look at two examples of licensing information in the sidebar. This is a resource by University of North Carolina. If we scroll down to the bottom of the page, we'll see there's nothing here in the footer, this section right here. So if you are in the habit of always looking in the footer and you don't see anything there, do not immediately assume that resource is not openly licensed. Always make sure to check the sidebar as well. So we can see right here that there is a Creative Commons logo, but this one is a little bit different. They don't have the shorthands depicted in the logo. Instead, it just says some rights reserved. So that might be a little bit confusing if you come across something like this, but remember, the logo and the text are usually always hyperlinks back to the Creative Commons website. So if we click on this, we can see that by some rights reserved, they mean it is attribution, non-commercial, share alike. So that's an example of a sidebar. And one more, a common website type that you often find licensing information in the sidebar are blogs, like this one. This is David Wiley's blog. He is very well known in the open education space. And we can see in his sidebar, he put the licensing information. So again, this is just going back to CC BY, which is the most open form of OER. And we have his logo and he has the text accompanying it, just like we've seen before. So just to recap, we saw two examples of footer, two examples of sidebar, and those are text-based websites. The one last thing I wanted to show you, where do you find licensing information for videos? So the most common place you will have videos is YouTube. So we can look at an example from our own course page. You have all watched this video already. Let's actually go to the YouTube website where this video lives. And if we scroll down, you'll always see this description right here. And if we click on show more, that's the link you'll always want to click on. This opens up and we can scroll down to this information that is accompanies every YouTube video: category, license, source use. If you look at license, it'll either say standard YouTube license, that means it is not open, or instead of standard YouTube license, it'll say Creative Commons Attribution License. And so those are the only two choices YouTube gives when you publish a video right now, either not open at all or completely open with just CC BY. So that is how you find the licensing information on YouTube videos.